Hello and welcome to Jay's Helpful Videos. Today I'm going to be replacing some old Andersen windows that I have in my home. They're close to 40 years old. I'm going to be replacing them with Andersen's conversion kit. It's the Andersen 400 series Narroline double hung windows. Pretty simple to do. I'll go step by step so that this way I'll make your project a little bit easier. The first step is to remove the upper screws on both the inner and outer sash. Next, what you want to do is raise up both the outer and inner sash and remove the remaining screws on the left-hand side. With all of the screws removed, I'm going to go ahead and remove this lower left sash. To do so, I'm going to go ahead and pull out this front edge first. Get a little putty knife behind there. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Next, you want to lower both the inner and outer sash to the lowest position. And you want to cut the cords as close to the header as possible. I'm using a pair of wire cutters. Cut it right up top. I'll do that for both sides. With the cords cut and the lower left jamb removed, I could then go ahead and just turn this out a little bit, pull out the inner window, and do the same thing for the outer window. With the windows out of place, I can go ahead and remove the remaining left jamb as well as the right jamb. Again, to remove the jamb, go ahead and push on this inner edge to get it free. You do that all the way up, and then you'll be able to pull that whole jamb away. With the jambs out of place, I'm going to go ahead and replace the screws that I removed on the left jamb and anywhere else on the other jambs where I had screws. I didn't have any other screws, so it says to use a screw that is a 1/2 inch longer than what was in the original holes. It also says to put a 2.5 inch nail in the center of both sides of the jambs, making sure not to put them in the grooves because that's where the new jambs are going to sit in. So put it right in the center here, 2.5 inch screw, as well as filling the other holes wherever you took screws out to remove the jambs. A very important step is to cut back this parting jamb. This is the piece that sits between the two windows. You need to cut that back 1/4 inch on each side. When I did my first window, I thought this was cut back enough and I didn't need to do it. But in fact, you do need to cut it back 1/4 inch so that this way the new jamb will sit behind that. So using a utility knife, you can just score it and cut it out. Here's a little helpful tip. While I have these jambs out of place, I'm going to go ahead and clean behind here on both sides, clean off the whole sill before I put the new jambs in place. I cleaned the window sill as well as both jambs, made sure they were free of any old varnish or any old silicone. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a 1/4 inch bead of silicone sealant between the jamb and the outer frame member on both sides. Now we're ready to install our new jambs. We have a left and right jamb. To identify the top end, it has 2 insulating plugs on it. Also, the bottom has 1 insulating plug, and it's cut on an angle to match the windowsill angle. Next, what you need to do is separate the inner from the outer jamb. We're going to install the outer jamb first, and then we'll install the inner jamb. This inside jamb, this is the front edge that goes to the outside, and this is the back edge, which is inside the house. You can see this has a little flexible weather strip on it that needs to sit along the outer side of this outside framing. These barbed legs, 2 of them, need to line up with the slots that are on the left and right side of the jamb. All right, to put the outer jamb in place, you need to line up the legs with the slots that are in the jamb. So go ahead and line that up. And we'll go ahead and push it in with my finger. And you can feel it snaps in. I'm going to push that in down the entire length. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of wood to make sure it's seated all the way. Now I'm going to use a piece of wood. I'm going to go down the entire length with a rubber mallet and make sure it's seated all the way. Do that for the inner window slot and the outer window slot. Okay, now the inner jamb, I'm going to go ahead and put in. This back edge you tuck in, and then the front edge you want to tuck behind this weather strip that's here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it in, making sure I get the top lined up first. Inner edge tucked in. With the back edge tucked in, now I just need to tuck the front edge in. I'll use a screwdriver to pull this out a little bit. And I'll go ahead and just push that all the way in down to full length. Okay, once that's in place, you'll notice that it has a little bit of give to it, a little bit of flex, which helps to tighten against the windows. You can see it's behind the gasket that's here. It might be difficult to see on the video. So both the back and front edge are tucked into the inner jamb. I just want to show you a close-up shot of the outer weather stripping on the outside of the brick mold. I also want to show you a close-up picture that this is sitting inside and it has a little bit of flex to it. Can you see that? It flexes in and out. If this was sitting on the outside, you'd have a problem getting the windows in and they would jam up. What you have to do next is you have to position the balancer shoe cams. There's one for the inner window, one for the outer window on both sides. And what you need to do is slide that down and lock it in place about 12 inches up. When you put the windows in, you'll slide them into those cams and turn them up. When you turn them up, they'll unlock, and then the windows will slide up and down on those cams. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a screwdriver in there, push it down, and lock it in place. And I'll do that for this other one. Before I install the windows, I'm going to go ahead and spray some silicone lubricant on the tracks on both sides. Since I have tilt-in windows, this release mechanism on both sides, you want to push that all the way up to the top of the jamb. All right, now we're ready to install the windows. We're going to start with the outer window first. You're going to line up the pins into the outer slot, put it on a slight angle. Facing up is the outer part of the window. I'm going to go ahead and slide that down on both sides until it clicks in place. Once it's locked in on both sides, I'm just going to slide the window up and lock it in place. Nice and easy. I'll do the same for the front window. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please take time to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.